one of the first few pieces of content that I did for this channel was for this incredible game book series that this gentleman that we're having on today created and published and just puts out. They're these DestinyQuest books. They're enormous. They are like a choose your own adventure meets an RPG. It almost gives you like that feeling of playing like Dark Souls in a novel kind of format. They're amazing, and he's back on Kickstarter creating another form of content for this series. Stick around. We're having Michael Ward on to talk about the World Compendium for Destiny Quest. Stick around. Hey everyone, welcome to Victory Condition Gaming. My name is Doug. Today on the show, we are talking to Michael Ward about the World Compendium for the Destiny Quest series. I'll tell you that if you're interested in anything that we're talking about today, check out the Kickstarter link in the description of this video. There's just so much stuff that Michael has already created with this world, and I'm so excited to see this world even more fleshed out and even more information that these novels that he's already created. I just want to know more about this world that he has already had created in his mind and put on pages. And I'm so super excited for this campaign. So without further ado, let's bring on Michael.
Hi, privileged to give me this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I'm a big fan of these books. Like you, these are amazing. They're just massive.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. Like, I love how you can just kind of play them over and over again. Like, and you just to go through all the content would just take you. It would take you years probably.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this campaign. Of course, you've put out 4 books in this series previously.
Yeah.
And now you're coming to Kickstarter with this World Compendium.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell folks a little bit about what this product is and what they can back for?
Yeah, so this is it's called the DestinyQuest World Companion. And so I think what will surprise a lot of people is it's not actually a game book. So this is actually as the name suggests, a companion volume to the other books. And essentially it came about because I was working with a team in America on a role-playing game system based on the DestinyQuest books. And as part of that project, I was asked to write material for the role-playing game core book. Essentially all the kind of campaign sort of source material that a game master would want to have in order to run a campaign, or information for the players to be able to kind of create their characters and immerse themselves in the world. So I wrote all this material for the role-playing game. And then unfortunately, early this year, the project got cancelled for various reasons. And so I kind of just had all this content sort of sitting around on my hard drive, and I was just kind of going to forget about it. And then I kept sort of reading it and thinking, this is really good stuff that I think fans and fantasy readers and RPGers would love to sort of have in their hands. So I really just kind of decided to just go ahead and publish it myself. So really this is kind of like a guidebook, so to speak, of the world that Destiny Quest is set in.
And you sent over an early, like a preview copy or PDF copy of what you have for this book, and I've got to say that it's like 140 some odd pages.
That was an early layout.
Okay.
And there's more content to be put in, and the actual final book will be more towards about 190 pages, hardback.
Nice.
So it is quite. I've sort of tried to make this kind of more of a kind of collector's item. You know what I mean? Something that's really nice, and you probably saw that from the illustrations as well.
Yeah.
I've tried to kind of go all out to make it a really nice, kind of. I mean, I haven't obviously got a Wizards of the Coast budget, but you know what I mean? I'm trying to make something that at least feels nice in that kind of genre, you know what I mean?
Sure. When I was looking through the PDF that you sent over, like the artwork in this book is just really, really cool and really great. And that's one thing that I, Destiny, the other novels really didn't have. You had a few illustrations, and of course you had those beautiful maps. The artwork in this is just adds so much more to this whole world, and I loved it so much.
Yeah, I think people have been asking for quite a while, because obviously, like you just said, the Destiny Quest books, they don't have the usual sort of interior illustrations of like monsters or landscapes or things like that. Generally, just due to the size of the books, and they're already quite expensive books to produce. The Destiny Quest books. So it was
Right,
one of those
right.
things where I kind of tended to sort of use my prose to describe the situations rather than illustrate them. But I thought what was nice with this book was having that opportunity to like bring all the characters to life, and some of the key land places and locations,
Sure.
because I think with this kind of book, which is a sort of a kind of guidebook, I think people expect that as well.
Hmm, hmm.
They would expect quite a high degree of illustration. And I was just really lucky to have David White on board, because I've known him for years. And at one point I was kind of thinking I probably won't do this project if I can't
Sure.
get David, because I just
Right.
thought, you know what, because he's easy to work with and I know I can trust him, and he really respects the lore and the details, of
Yep.
the characters. So having him on board was, an absolute kind of blessing. So I've shared a few snippets of his artwork, but there's just so much in this book that he's done that is just absolutely. I mean, well, you've seen it for
Yeah, yeah.
yourself.
No, it's phenomenal. It's great.
It's absolutely wonderful, and I think he's captured. It's always difficult because people will have in their head an image of the characters. You know what I mean?
Hmm, hmm.
And some of them are probably quite, held dear to some, readers' hearts. You know what I mean? So, but I'm kind of pleased that I think we've nailed every character. Do you know what I mean? Because
Yep.
it's slightly nerve wracking when you send over that brief to an illustrator and you're thinking, please don't mess this up.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
And but every time I mean, there was a couple of characters we had to go back and forth on, but in general, I think he's just sort of nailed the look and feel, and like you said about that sort of Dark Souls
Yeah.
kind of like, I think that's what Destiny Quest has become now, is very much a sort of Dark Ages, Dark Souls kind of, that feel of like the world is kind of slowly falling away, pulling away at the seams, and I kind of wanted to capture that in some of the character art.
It's exactly why I thought the art was just phenomenal, because it's exactly how I pictured this world
Mm.
in my head as I was playing the books. Let's talk a little bit about this Kickstarter. This Kickstarter is not your first Kickstarter. You've actually done
Uh,
one other one.
yeah, so there was a Destiny Quest Kickstarter which ran, I want to say about, is it about 3 years ago, 4 years ago now?
Yeah, yeah,
I
I backed it.
think with the whole COVID lockdown thing, I think I lost about 2 years of my life, so I don't know. But that was actually run by Megara Entertainment, who was a French publisher, and let's just say there was a little bit of drama.
Sure.
It didn't go quite to plan, unfortunately, but I was kind of caught up in that too, unfortunately, as an onlooker. But with this campaign, it is my first campaign that I'm running. I'm in charge of it, so therefore, I mean that there's kind of zero risk with this campaign, because as you've seen, the book's pretty much. I mean, there are some changes to be done, but it's kind of there. It's done. It's written, and bar sort of stretch goals, the content, the illustrations done. So it's quite a finished project that I'm actually bringing to Kickstarter. Do you know what I mean? So
Nice,
there's
absolutely.
no like hidden concerns, with that being produced.
I love that. I think more publishers need to be kind of on that time frame, especially with the world the way it is right now, with
Definitely.
with material shortages and shipping delays and all that. Like,
Yeah.
if you should be going to Kickstarter pretty close to where you want to just kind of hit that print button. I mean, sure, with Kickstarter, there's the whole community aspect, and you
Mm.
want to, sometimes get some of that feedback from your community, and sometimes maybe shift your product just slightly, but not too far. So yeah, I'm so glad to see that this is really far along in the process.
Yeah, because I mean, all being well, the book should be out kind of. I almost want to say end of August, early September. I mean, that's the
Wow.
plan. That's the plan with the publisher. But I mean, obviously, take into account unforeseen circumstances or slight delays. But I mean, we're pretty confident that September will be the time when the books will be getting shipped. So
Nice. That's
so
that's great. So you've mentioned some Kickstarter stretch goals. Do you want to tease those a little bit? Of course, we know we got the World Compendium book.
Sure.
What else do you have planned? If you don't mind me
Okay.
asking.
Well, first off, there's a number of different pledge levels,
Okay.
obviously.
Yep.
So
Sure.
so people can, pledge. I mean, obviously, people will pledge different amounts of money depending on their, circumstances and their
Budgets
passion.
and well, sure.
So I've tried to kind of give a sort of a varied selection of options. But with with some of the pledge levels, there's the opportunity to get some Kickstarter exclusive loot cards.
Ooh, I love those because you've done those
And
in the past as well
yeah,
with
well, these
the
seem to prove pretty popular. I mean, they're quite
yeah.
collectible, and for people that don't know, they offer like an item of equipment that is not actually in the book, and you can equip it at a certain time, and they tend to be more powerful items than you probably would get in the book. So they're quite useful if you want to sort of boost your character and make them more powerful. And these items in particular did actually feature on a set of promotional bookmarks that came out with the first printing of Legion of Shadow. So they were quite difficult to get then. And so what I've done is I've had them repurposed basically as loot cards. So that's those. So that's one of the rewards for a certain pledge level.
Nice.
Also, there's an add-on that people can buy, which I'm quite excited about because you know how you were talking about the lovely map artwork in the
Yes.
books. Well,
Maps are
yeah.
amazing.
Well, for the first time, sort of Galance, who published the first three books, have given me permission to reproduce the artwork.
Oh, nice.
And so there's a map set of 5 of these really large. You can probably tell how big it is. Double-sided color glossy
Oh, those are
postcards,
great.
and they have there's 5 of them in the set, and they cover all of the maps from the first 3 books, and that's might be of particular interest to sort of UK fans, particularly because the current edition of the Heart of Fire has black and white maps now. So people might be quite interested to kind of actually get the color versions. So I think that's quite a nice little set as an option. That's an add-on. And then talking about stretch goals, really it's kind of coming down to some art postcards, some more loot cards, a new type of loot card that I'm looking forward to sort of talking about more during the campaign. And there's also another section of the book I want to unlock, which is the Atlas, which will be adding about 9,000, 10,000 extra words to the book. And David will be providing the map artwork. So
Nice.
that'll be a nice little treat to kind of flesh out, kind of like complete the book, really.
Wow, that's great. I'm so excited. I hope that this Kickstarter brings in more fans to your brand because I mean that's kind of what we love Kickstarter for.
Sure.
It's this great big marketing tool
Well, yeah. Well, I think with this book, I think obviously, first and foremost, it's going to appeal to the hardcore fans of Destiny Quest, obviously.
sure.
But I'm kind of hoping with this that it will have a potentially wider appeal because, as we've already said, it is a source book for like role-playing campaigns. So, I'm hoping it might appeal to, those that are into the role-playing. And also the way I've written it, it's very narrative. I mean, you
Yep.
probably can attest to that. The way,
Yep.
so it's
It
not a
is.
sort of it's not a dry kind of history
Mm.
book of facts and figures. It's actually I've tried to write it almost in a kind of novelistic way. So anybody that's into that sort of fantasy, novels and that I think will find this quite appealing and linked with the artwork too. I think it all comes together to make a really nice read. Really, hopefully, fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
No, I think it will, and I'm excited to kind of finally see it in printed form, and have the physical item in my hands once it's all said and done. Yeah, no, I'm so excited. So we haven't even finished this Kickstarter, but since I have you on, I have to ask, since being a fan of your work, do you have any other plans for this Destiny Quest series going forward? I mean, I know this is a product that's kind of a byproduct of something that you've worked on previously, which you reached out to me previously and said, hey, I'm kind of working on this. This is just putting this on your radar, and I was like, oh, this is going to be so cool. And so I was a little disappointed when you said it wasn't going to happen, but I'm very excited that you're able to use this information and make this really cool product with it. I'm gonna kind of see if you've got any other plans after this.
Well, I mean, as people will know, Raiders of Dune Sea ended on kind of a bit of a cliffhanger.
Right.
You know, that is a story that hasn't finished yet. You know what I mean? It's the
Mm-hmm.
first time. It's the first time that your characters carries over into another book. So people have been quite eagerly waiting for that book to appear.
Yeah.
Now it got a little bit railroaded a little bit. That to got a long story short, I'm splitting it into two books. So
Oh, okay.
the next book is actually so it's actually a trilogy.
Nice. I
Well,
like that.
I don't know why I do these things to myself, but it was more just the fact that the next book, if I wrote it how I've sort of planned it, I would probably end up with like an 8,000 page book. You know what I mean? It's just impossible. So I need to sort of rein myself in, and so that's been a bit of an issue, and that's probably why the next book's been a bit delayed. Is
Okay.
because of me planning it. It's quite a complex story, and with game books, you're telling it through the perspective of one person, which is you.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's quite difficult because I almost want to do a Game of Thrones, you know, like jumping between about 5 people's perspectives, and you can't really do that without,
Sure. Sure.
you know. So it's been a bit of a tough one, and that's why it's, you know, I'm still working through it, so to
Right.
speak, through the
Right.
planning. But I mean, it is on my radar, and so that the next book is The Wrath of Ragnarok,
Nice.
and it carries on from the Raiders of Dune Sea.
I'm so excited to see this Kickstarter come to be, and I'm going to tell everyone that again, if you're interested in everything that we're talking about and everything that I've shown, during this interview on screen, feel free to click the link in the description below. Where else can folks find all your Destiny Quest content, Mike?
Well, the official website is www.destiny-quest.com. And if you just Google Destiny Quest, you'll find it, and that's got kind of links to all the books and Amazon links, but also it has a bit of a section that explains how the books work. If you're coming to it cold and you just want a bit more information, and if you go onto that site as well, you'll find links to my sort of Twitter and Facebook and everything, because I have a Facebook group, and I kind of update that regularly with news and stuff. So it's a good place to kind of hop onto and follow to kind of get the latest info on what's happening with the series.
I'm going to tell you, go check it out. It's great stuff, Michael. It's a pleasure having you on again. I'm so
It's an
excited.
honor.
Great, much success for this Kickstarter, and we'll have to have you back when
hopefully celebrating success. Hopefully.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And much luck and success to you, my friend. And
Thank
I'm
you.
so glad that you're well and healthy. And if I'll remind folks that if you are interested in Destiny Quest, or if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below, and feel free to share this video with anyone that you think might be interested in Mike's work, because he just does this, and you can just tell he has a huge passion for this product and getting his stories out there. So thank you, everyone that has watched this far. Appreciate you. Remember, winning shouldn't be the only victory condition when you get to the table. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Thanks.